Hello.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
How's everyone
Welcome
doing?
to CrowCast, episode 24. We are in a different location. Well, some of us are. Dave's not. He's still in the house. But as you can tell, myself, Ronnie, and Lloyd have got a different backdrop. We are in the studio. We're going to be rehearsing new material, recording new material, and just having a jam for the next few days. I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's really cool. We got here a couple of hours ago, didn't we? So, semi-settled in. So I think it's going to be a bit of a not so long 3-hour marathon that we're used to doing.
No.
I think it'll be a catch-up with Wyatt. And the cool thing is when we go back to Lloyd after, because he's in the studio side of it, we can maybe take us around and show everybody what the crack is. So there's nothing for management and label and everybody start watching this. There's nothing planned, guys. There's no so much as secrets. It's just rehearsals are becoming a nightmare as well, and getting together becomes harder. So we've come away. We've escaped life and kind of come away for a few days, haven't we? Do a bit of jamming, like you said, Shane, a bit of recording.
Yep. Yeah, Dave's going to be joining us tomorrow, so don't worry. It's not just us. And Dave's coming tomorrow.
Really start morning.
Yeah.
Somebody just said, "Where is Shiner?" Hang on, Shino! Shino, come and say hello. Gotta watch him, see.
I love that. Yeah, 3 people. Where's Shiner? Where is Shiner?
And here he is, boy.
There he
Hello,
is.
Internet. I see you after.
And he's gone.
And that's all, folks.
We're currently doing a lot of the boring stuff down there now, doing all the miking up and leads running everywhere and in years and all of that vibe. And we get to speak to you lovely ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So it's fantastic.
Yeah. Evening all. I can see all the comments. How we doing? Donna, Rob, Jane, Harriet, Alan. How we doing, guys? This is so strange.
Shane, your camera's crisper than it's ever been. What are you using?
Pledge. I just polished the camera.
Like
Pledge.
the Ultra HD, like 4K or something.
Is it? Oh my God, is it showing all my wrinkles and has it?
Yeah.
My massive 6 head, 5 head.
Shane is in the living room.
Yeah.
Shane is currently in the living room. Lloyd's in the control room. And I'm in one of the bedrooms. So
I'm in my house.
Yeah. Like Dave's in a location at home.
Shiner's gone evil.
Secret location.
I know where Shiner's gone. I can see him, boy.
I can see him there as well. Yeah.
Oh, there is he. I thought he'd be down by there. I did. If I look down there, I can see
oh, I can't. He's gone now.
I'm from Glasgow. Hi, Max.
What's up, Max?
Oh, John L. What studio are you guys? Where are you guys? You're not going to say, how are we, John? Come on, you know the game. You know the game. You know better than that, John. We're not going to announce that. Or are we? No, we're not. Or are we? We're not, are we? We're not. Let's face it, we're not. Or are we?
No.
Are we? No. Exactly. Come on, John. You know the game. You know the game, John. So you, Dave?
Yeah, good. Just sitting in my house.
Yeah?
Yeah. Busy working the last couple of weeks, so kind of wind down time now. I could be joining you in the morning, and then I got to go back for a day at work. And Lisa and I are going to be at her family for a week, nearly a week next week. So yeah, all good.
What, up to London?
Yeah, I'm going to relax.
Cool.
Get meal cooked for us, wine brought for us.
Sounds
it's like a hotel.
Yeah, I know. Can't wait.
That's brilliant.
Somebody just put up on your I'm guessing they're referring to where Shiner is. So is he having a fag? And someone Gene Smith, fag and cuppa.
Are you at the farm? Oh, might be, might not be. That's pretty good. Isn't it? One's afternoon Willows. It's like I Spy, innit?
There's only one way to find out. You're going to have to travel and find out.
Yeah.
Go knock the door.
Phil's just said it's not Rockfield. Question
Or is
mark?
it?
Or is it?
Or is it?
Or isn't it? Ooh.
Craig McGill, Dave, the posh rock star.
I don't know. How he's managed to come to that conclusion, but there we are.
Stop pulling the accents when someone says, where are they from? It's racist, apparently. Do I do an accent? Do I do that?
I don't know.
I think you did a Scottish one, didn't you?
Or do I do, like from Scotland and all of that, like, you know? That's not me. That's a talent, that is, I
Yeah.
think. Or is
I
it?
think it is.
Is it?
Is it wrong? Is it wrong?
Is it wrong?
Folly Farm with Derek De Niro.
Yes. Yes,
I
Dara.
love- in the comments, everyone's just like trying to figure out
Yeah.
where it is, they're all asking where it is. And
Sounds like Ronnie is underwater.
I need to know as well because I got to drive out in the morning.
I haven't got my... Well, don't give it away now, Dave. Come on now, Dave. Game now, Dave. Focus now, Dave. Use all your skills, all your strength.
Depends how much
No.
the offer is, isn't it?
Oh,
Great,
great.
Dave. Well,
20 quid, 20 quid.
Yeah, get off. So anyway, on with the show. That's how simple that is.
Oh, I said no, he's not playing now. Oh. Come back, Dave. We need you.
Charles Mansell, a quid.
Yeah, we're not expensive.
Oh, look at that. They've already started offering Dave wine. Ronnie,
I haven't got
and
any wine. I'm on the tea. I'm on the peppermint tea.
Cornish. You're from Cornish, is it? Cornish? I don't know. Is that wrong?
Cornish.
Girls,
Cornish wine, so
girls.
it is.
Stop laughing.
Girls,
You're trouble, you are.
you're trouble, you are. Girls.
Shane,
Stop.
Shane,
I
you're
do
trouble,
love that
you are.
accent. I do love that accent.
Don't even breathe. Don't even breathe.
Girls, don't
Yeah.
even breathe.
That was my Bristolian. Sorry, Cornwall.
Ah,
Cornwall, not there we are. Cornwall, not Northern Ireland. See, I always get them wrong. Dave does a good Northern Ireland.
yes, Dave. Go on, Dave.
Do I?
Yeah.
I did not chain you to the radiator. That's terrible.
My
Oh,
mum was
terrible.
just rope here. Lloyd and Shiner did not know where they were going. When I asked them, God knows how they got it. To be quite honest, I'm surprised I'm in one piece, Mum.
Cornish accent sounds Irish. There we are. If I go for Irish, I might sound Cornish. Who knows, innit? Have we got any birthdays and shout-outs?
To be honest, there's two. We're a bit lackluster on the birthdays. We got Carly Cook. It's her birthday today. Happy birthday, Carly. Hope you've had a great day, lovely. And we've also got a shout out to you. I had quite a few messages actually for this person. This is a shout out to Debbie Strings. She's having a bit of a rough year. We won't go into details why, but just want to let her know that all the Crow family are thinking about you. And I've had 3, 4, 5 messages from people. Yeah, so you know, everyone's thinking of you, Debbie, at this rough time, lovely. Hope you're okay. and reach out if you need help. We're talking stuff. But that's it. That's all we got.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, what if we check back in with you, see what's going on in the studio? Dave, you go and get some facts together so we can entertain the masses. And we can bring in a guest then. How about that, boys?
Sounds good. Sounds good.
See you in a bit.
See you in a bit.
See you in a bit.
Should we bring in a guest?
Ladies and gentlemen, it should have been last week, but technology and weather stopped it. But over the moon to say we got him this week. This is Wyatt Wendels.
Hey,
Hello.
there he is.
Here he is. Ah, look at that. Look how
look at that.
pro he is.
Look at that. They've invented Oh no! Look at that. I've got Well, you say that. Oh, look, look at the cat beds are in the background. Look, it's not exactly pro, is it? 6 foot cat bed. Look at that.
How are we doing, buddy?
I'm all right. Yeah, live from the studio. It's amazing. This used to be a spare room. Now it sounds sexy if I call it a studio. It's still technically a spare room that I work in.
Yeah.
If I want to sound middle class, I call it a study. If I want to be working class, it's a studio. You know.
I'll have to remember that.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Study makes. See, when you say study, you start thinking you've got to have smoking jackets on and monocles. Although I do have lounge pants on. I've got me. You can't really see, but they're lounge pants, and they're proper Hugh Hefner jobs. Them. You know,
I love that.
Not take my clothes off, but they're Playboy. I thought, well, that's appropriate, isn't it? Hugh Hefner lounge pants made by Playboy.
Yeah, those curtains look expensive as well.
Yeah, well, I didn't buy them. They were here. Weirdly, when I bought this house a couple of years ago, by sheer coincidence, I bought it off a massive Yes fan. And this room was his music room. And he would just, where that cat bed is, used to be his music stand. And he had this music book of Steve Howe. I'm thinking of all the members of Yes, you want to worship Steve Howe. But yeah, and they were his expensive curtains. So I thought, well, I'll leave them there in case people think they're mine. I've spent a lot of money on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're good, mate.
Yeah. So we've covered lounge pants and curtains. We're doing well.
Cats, but I'm not sure if that's code for anything. So,
And I've got the drummer's t-shirt on. There you go. From Kate. Oh, I've got it the wrong. Can't get it. No, caveman to drummer. I've gone the wrong way. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Everything's in reverse. So that's what you get when you're left-handed as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whereabouts? I'm trying to work out where you are. You're in a is that a studio, Shane, or a cottage?
I'm basically
a cottage.
Yeah, I'm basically in the living room of the studio, but it's a residential studio. It's a residential studio.
Right. Yeah. They're the best ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can have a few drinks. There you go.
That's
There's
it.
One bedroom.
That's it. Is that your studio apartment there, Ronnie?
it's not bad. It's not bad. It's put me in here, Wyatt, because the ceilings are really low. If you look, they're probably.
Yeah, and late at night you can see a little Ronnie scurrying along the floor.
Exactly. I can't even go into that room. I hit my head on the beams. I can't even get in there.
Yeah. That's it. I've got the same in my living room. I've got this kind of Star Wars lampshade. It's like the Death Star. When you pull the chain, it opens out.
Yeah.
But the thing is, what they didn't tell me, it looks great in a photo, but it hangs so low, it's about 2 foot off the ground. So you're like limboing around. It's like, oh, that's it. Don't want to smash the Death Star.
Brilliant. You seem really well, mate. You're in good spirits.
I'm all right. Yeah. I mean, the grand scheme of things. I mean, isn't it weird though? I mean, considering where we are in life and how slow things have happened or not happened, you think time would be in like funeral time, but it's scary to think it's nearly 6 months since the actual lockdown began, and here we are. It's like, where's it going? I mean,
terrifying.
It is. I mean, it goes quick when you're living. It just goes so life don't stop for nothing. You know, even when you're bored and fed up, it speeds by. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got used to it now. I mean, it was pretty tetchy come sort of April time when we were in lockdown. It was like, we're going to have another 2 weeks and another week. It was like, wow, seriously, where does this end? And I think that's the problem for most people is the uncertainty, and especially the music industry. I mean, that's a whole different subject in a bit, but yeah, once things started getting back to sort of a bit of normality in life, okay. But I've gone from one extreme to the other because I used to commute every day, pretty much, give or take, to London. So London to Yorkshire. It still blows people's mind that I do a 6-hour commute for a 4 radio show every day. And now I've gone the other way. So I'm at home all the time. Now I'm thinking, I wouldn't mind going to London once in a while. You know, get me out of the house. There's no pleasing you. So, I don't know what people are doing. I'm trying to find that silver lining in every cloud.
Yeah, but that's basically how Symbols of Appreciation came about, though. I mean, just boredom, was it? And you just thought...
Yeah, well, I'll be completely honest. Symbols of Appreciation was not my idea. I mean, obviously it's me doing it. And I'll be even more honest and say I thought it wasn't a great idea. I thought because, and it's not false modesty or anything like that, I thought, who is really going to be interested in me going, 30 feet below me here, banging away? And I thought it was the content director of Planet Rock, essentially my boss. So, and he said, what? And it was literally a text. And he says, how about this, Sean? You got your drums set up and all that. And he said, how about this for an idea? Why not just bash out a little intro and then people are at home, they want to mention, and he explained it to me. And I thought, all right. And I'm thinking, no one's going to care. I'll get 1 or 2. And I actually thought 4 or 5 in a month, maybe 1 a week. And it just went. I mean, it really did. It went and kept going. And then when I thought, oh, it's run its course, we got to the end of June, July, and I said, why don't we look at winding it down? I said, because we're going to run out of songs at some point, and let's look at August, maybe making it weekly. So we said, all right, we'll play it by ear. And then there was this, loads came in all at once. So I was working like a month behind. And then in August, it all picked up again. And it's like, tomorrow will be 112. And if no one submits another one from this point in, I'll get to 150, no problem. Wow. So I think it will go into the winter. I mean, it'll have a cut-off point at some point. But I didn't think it'd be as popular and silly. And it's got a bit more surreal. And then I kind of started to run with it. I went from not wanting to do it, think this is rubbish, to having 2 different versions. People don't realize there's 2 versions. The video version is usually longer and a bit more sillier than the one you hear on the air. That's shorter because I realize maybe not everyone wants to hear me singing Brian Johnson really badly. So they're 2 different versions. So it ain't easy putting it together because a lot of them I've got to practice as well. I mean, Ronnie, have a go at Where Eagles Dare by Iron Maiden. I can guarantee you off the top of your head, you'll be spending a while on it. And, Stargazer, you just can't just do it off the top of your head. Some of them are like Walk This Way or Hard Tunnel, but on an average week, it takes about 4 hours to put them all together, which doesn't seem much. But when I try and do them all in one afternoon, that's Sunday afternoon gone. I mean, it's fun, but it's work. Yeah. and here we are, 111 episodes in.
That's insane. Right. That was going to be my next question. Is there any sort of song you're like, oh, I'm not doing that? You're picking them, yeah? Yeah,
I am picking them. But again, I'll be honest. There are some that have been persistent where I knew I couldn't get away with avoiding them. So I knew I'd have to have a go at Hot for Teacher. I knew, and Painkiller was the most, Judas Priest Painkiller, and that still is the hardest one. And I sort of cobbled one together. And I think weirdly, there was this weird thing where I did, because like I said, there's 2 different versions. There's the video and there's the on-air one. And I nailed the on-air one and I couldn't get the video. So I'm like, and I knew that, time was running out and I wanted to get them all ready for the week ahead. So I switched one. I did something like, I'll do Hot for Teacher, which is obviously so much easier. And then weirdly, I couldn't get the video for Painkiller, but I couldn't get the audio for Hot for Teacher. And I thought, I'll put one out. And then I was sort of on the air saying, well, there's no video today because I can't do it. And it was like, so yeah, there's a lot I try and practice, like the really hard ones. Painkiller, Judas Priest, Hot for Teacher. That was an interpretation because I'll be honest, I don't even know if Alex Van Halen knows what he's playing on that. It's just all over the place. Yeah. Well, it's 2 bass drums and it's the floor toms. Now people say he's playing 4 bass drums. I don't think he is. I think it's. I'm pretty sure it's floor toms doing different notes to the bass drums. So my 4-way coordination isn't the best. So you got your feet going, da-da-da-da-da. I'm thinking, right, just don't stop doing that. And then your hands are doing something completely different. Singers don't have to worry about this kind of stuff. No, that's fine. So, the ones that I knew I couldn't avoid, I've done, in fairness. The only one that's missing so far, which I will do before the end, is Spirit Radio Rush. Where Eagles Dare, I got loads from Iron Maiden. Stargaze, I still got Arsaw. I've done Speed King. Deep Purple, that's a killer as well. And there's some iconic ones. And I thought, no, I'm not just going to be like a boxer who chooses all the journeymen to fight, and I'll avoid the Anthony Joshuas and the Tyson Furies of the world. So ultimately it's fun. And that was my lockdown thing as I became a drummer again. I thought I've been playing at that point 29 years nearly. So I thought, let's start. And I took lessons. And then I got really, dare I say, almost a bit pretentious about it. I got, rather than just having a lesson off one teacher, let's have loads of lessons from people all over the world and just take bits. So Brian Tishy of the Dead Daisies, took a lesson or two from him. The guy from Wish. I got this some doing from a guy from Austria. I found my old music from 25 years ago, took a lesson off him, and I thought, this, bearing in mind, this was all April and May when none of us were going anywhere. So I was just hours in the garage trying to
amazing
again.
That's awesome.
That's
For that silver lining.
Yeah,
that's brilliant. How did it start with you with the drums, Wyatt? Did you learn early? Were you,
Not really. I was 14 and I had a go at guitar. I always knew I wanted to be a drummer, but when you don't live in a mansion and you're living in a terrace house, drums is the worst instrument to learn because of the neighbours. So even though my parents are pro musicians and my mum was really encouraging, I thought there was something in my head to try and learn guitar. So I had a go and it just didn't fit. And it was the weirdest thing because I had, I think it was the 1985 Kiss live video that brought out, I don't know if
oh no.
oh, don't worry, we'll bring it back in now. We'll bring it back in. I was right there then as well.
Yeah.
When we gone back, I didn't want to kind of stop him on the Symbols Appreciation, but I thought what we'll do is we'll kind of like see how it started with him, and then there's still more I wanted to touch on with that as well. Like, so that's banging. Hang on, I think we got Wyatt back. There you go.
But now I was just talking. I thought, blimey, they hung up on me. So yeah, I got, look at me just picking up where I left off. I got this this Kiss video. They brought one out in the 80s, and I remember Gene Simmons had a really bad wig in it, and I used to air drum to Eric Carr. I had no idea what I was doing. I just loved the way he looked. And they'd be doing, this is when they were doing stuff like Creatures of the Night. There was Detroit Rock City, and I thought I'd really like to play the drums based on air drumming. And then I saw Motley Crue at Wembley Arena on the Dr. Feelgood tour when Tommy Lee had the spinning cage. Right. And that was a real life-changing moment. And at that point, I went to a local shop and took lessons. And it kind of went from there as a easily led 14-year-old.
14,
yeah. None of this started when I was 2 nonsense. I thought I'd wait to my teens.
Did you instantly get in bands then in your teens, or?
Yeah, I joined the school band. That I think everyone had a crack. You're doing covers, and we did like the assembly. Now, what you didn't realise at the time, you take it for granted. Now, when you're in a band, you're trying to make it, and you crave audience, and that's why you're playing big venues and you're playing to the bar staff and their dog. What you didn't realise, school assembly, the school halls were bloody massive. Ours held about 800, and it'd be packed with an audience going mad for you. I'm thinking, we're playing a really bad version of Metallica's Fade to Black, followed by, the one I love by REM. I mean, it was so eclectic, and they were loving it. And as a 14-year-old, you're thinking, well, yeah, too right, I should love it. This is what it should always be like. And then you go out and join a band at 16, 17. You're playing a youth club with 4 people, and you're thinking, it's going back to school. Yeah, but I joined a couple of bands. I suppose I got lucky that I joined a band that had some dates in California. So as a 16-year-old, we did essentially a tour of the West Coast, and we did some, the plan was to go over. I was 16, they were in their 20s, late 20s. And as was the case a lot in the 90s, you paid to play. It's racketeering, but that's what we did. We arranged, well, I didn't. They arranged some radio interviews, some press. And I thought, imagine this, as a 16-year-old, I've gone to Hollywood. I've got an apartment, short-term lease with my mum, but we'll ignore that bit. And all I know is I've got an apartment on Hollywood and Franklin, and I'm 16, and I'm playing the Whiskey A Go-Go next week, and I'm doing the Troubadour and a load of other venues that are probably long since gone. And I thought that was it. I thought the only reason I'd be flying home would be to pick up my stuff. It was a shit show. It was a shambles. I mean, the writing was on the wall. My first gig in Hollywood was at a place called the Coconut Teaser, supporting Freak of Nature, which was Mike Tramp's band, who used to be in White Lion. And as is the case when you're doing club gigs, as a drummer, you share the back line. So the drum kit's there, you take your sticks. I should have known at that point. I didn't even know what a stick holder was at this point. I had no stick holders. I just had my sticks in my hand, and I'm looking down thinking, where am I going to put these sticks? I got a pint, filled it with water, and stuck a stick in it because I knew if I didn't fill it with water, it'd just topple over. So that was my first drumstick holder, was a full pint glass of water. I also knew that if I got thirst, I could drink it, albeit with a few wood shavings. And then the other Roman on that same, this was a gig where you didn't even need your own cymbals. I have never to this day seen a ride cymbal as thick and as heavy. It must have been 28 inches and about that thick. And I had brand new, I think they were ProMark sticks. And I just, the first hit, I went like that and it split it clean in two. I'm thinking, is this what it's like it gigging in Hollywood? Is this what it is? Pints of water with drumsticks in it, broken brand new sticks.
I remember, Ronnie, you had an incredible ride.
I bought one of
kids.
the rides. It was an old school earth ride, 24 inches or 26, I can't remember. And the only reason I had it was a drummer brought it back from America, an old chap, an old jazz drummer. And he said it pretty much gave him an hernia carrying it round in his case. Like, so I bought it off him exactly the same as you, Wyatt. I remember taking it to practice. This monster
massive.
Sat between like the rack tom and the floor. Did a big roll around the kit, da da ba da ba da, and as I hit the ride, the stick just went in half. Like,
you probably got the one I use at the Coconut Teas in Hollywood.
I remember even upgrading, which is a bit of a geeky thing, but I remember upgrading to 2Bs, which my wrists couldn't hold pretty, just to play that ride and think like I was, Tommy Lee or something like that, like massive tree trunks, just to play this ridiculous, stupid, heavy ride, so
I know they're awful. I used 2Bs back then. I mean, it was just like, now I think it traumatized me so much. I've used crash rides or medium rides because I know that they'll swing about and they damage limitation. So I wasn't a rock star, so I came home and went back to school, and then I feel a sort of an edited life history. I thought, what am I going to do in my life? Didn't really work out. Joined a couple of bands, got an independent record deal, released an album, got screwed over by the music industry and the press. Weirdly enough, a few bad reviews. I can remember this. This was criminal to me in 1996, and I know. Kerrang! Magazine paid £150 for them to review our debut album. They slated it. I thought, could you give us a better review, for Christ's sake? I mean, and I don't know if that was something under the table. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have been a policy. Another thing they'd done, it was like, well, look, you probably wouldn't review the normal. It's 250 quid. I thought, for 250 quid, if I was that corrupt, if someone had given me that kind of money, I'd say, you want me to say, and I'll say it for you for that kind of money. I mean, 25 years ago nearly, and it killed us. Yeah. It was just one bad review too many. And then I thought I'd give radio a go, and then here we are.
So how did
edited version, 25 years.
Yeah, but how did you get into that, though?
Well, I always feel a bit awkward when I'm around what I call radio people, because nearly every one of my peers, they're all lifers. And when I say lifers, they're like, I knew at the age of 4, the age of 2, I used to listen to the radio. I always wanted to do it. And I never did. Radio Caroline and Capital, because I lived in London. So I grew up with it, Capital Gold. But I can clear as day remember when I lived in North London and my music career was going nowhere. I was a lorry driver. Remember getting a Stage magazine newspaper, I think it's still about, and I remember literally getting in the bath and I had the paper, and I was 22 at this point next to me, and I remember saying to myself out loud, why don't we give this radio lark a go? Because in the Stage newspaper, Bruno Brooks, the old one presenter, had started a radio school, which was a spare room in his very big house in Berkshire, and it was like a couple of months. So I went and did this course, and the caveat was that the guy, it wasn't Bruno Brooks who was teaching it. It was someone who used to be on Radio 1 and get you on this compilation CD, and we can hawk it round to to stations, and then when you're there, they tell you, well, here's all the contacts you need. You're sending out demos to record labels if you're in a band. And at this point, I didn't know anyone. I had no one to give me a leg up, and I was so green. And it is a really long slog. I mean,
I wonder if he's on the Ethernet, or was he just Wi-Fi?
Could be just Wi-Fi. Could be
Yeah.
Wi-Fi. So we got, this CrowCast on the road is working, isn't it?
For us, it is, yeah.
Not too bad.
I'll tell you what's going on. It's between Yorkshire and Wales. We've got no internet signal at all. And I've got an Ethernet cable. You know me, all high tech.
Oh, it's Ethernet, yeah.
Yeah, I've got one of them. Sounds like something that helps you wee better, doesn't it? How's your ether cable? Yeah, it's fine, thanks. And then a lot of rejection letters, a lot of tapes as it was then. And it was a really, really, I mean, there was no fast track because I didn't know anyone. I had no friends in the industry. No, I'm not downplaying it or exaggerating. I knew no one. I phone numbers or the email addresses of local radio stations. And it really was about as organic as you can get. Emailing, getting numbers and details out of phone books, off websites, and just constantly looking for a break. And it took me 2 years to turn pro. I mean, it doesn't sound a long time. There was an awful lot of the odd show here and there.
Yeah.
A lot of doing stuff, not getting stuff, getting messed around. It was brutal as anything I'd ever experienced in music.
So what was your first job then?
In radio?
Yeah.
I did an what would technically be called an early breakfast show on a Sunday morning on 210 FM in Reading. And it was so, back then, as is the case now, you have a network of stations that one station broadcast to several. Yeah, that's been a concept for years. There's nothing new in that. So what Reading decided to do is they would opt out of this network so they could essentially paste over this new guy's show. Just, let him have a go. I mean, I got paid. What did I get paid? 25 quid, something like that. And I lasted 7 weeks. My theory is they didn't really like me and want me in the first place, but they said, I forgot to play an ad break. So they fired me. Well, if that rung true, Planet Rock would have fired me 10 times over by now because I've forgotten a lot more than that in 8 years. And then from there, it was trying everywhere and anywhere I could. And at that point, commercial radio isn't like rock radio. It's, as you can imagine, in this day and age, you'd be playing stuff like Little Mix, Justin Bieber. It's all that. Back in the late 90s, it was Boyzone, it was George Michael, it was Robbie Williams. Retro stuff to commercial radio then was early Take That, maybe Dina Carroll and that kind of thing. And I knew I didn't like that music, but there was no rock radio then. There was no, Planet Rock didn't start for another year and was unknown for quite a while. Hadn't started. There was Virgin and XFM started the following year. But for guitar music, it was such slim pickings. But I thought it's a form of entertainment. Yeah, I can live with playing ABBA or George Michael. But yeah, I just thought, play some music and talk in between. How hard can it be? Jesus Christ, it was hard.
I tell you what, there's a new list there of symbols of appreciation. ABBA, George Michael.
Oh, God. Yeah. I can believe it. Yeah, but the trick is, part of the thing is with symbols of appreciation is I've got to play the original after. So unless it's a rock cover of ABBA, because that's the idea. The videos, that's why the videos can be stupid because they're self-contained. But on here is I then play, not so you can rip me apart and say it's nothing like it, just so it's a bit of connectivity. Oh, he's done that and now we can hear the original. So I had to eliminate a few in the early days. So I get these random deep cuts off of, the unreleased album from 1974. Like, can you play track 3 from this Deep Purple? It's like, no, because I'm not, whatever it is. So it's not just classics, but it's stuff I can literally play afterwards. So ABBA's a no, I'm afraid, on that one.
It's a shame.
Yeah,
I love a bit of ABBA.
I don't mind ABBA.
Yeah, I like ABBA. Incredible songwriters. Yeah,
Give Me a Man After Midnight. I love Dancing Queen. It's like Smoke on the Water. I'd happily never hear that again.
I'm the same with that one. I'm the same with that.
Yeah, but Give Me a Man After Midnight. I mean, there's some great. I used to, when I was DJing in clubs, you'd always play a bit of ABBA. Always. Good. Dancing Queen, Mamma Mia. Couldn't go wrong. That and 500 Miles by the Proclaimers.
Yeah.
They used to play that at the clubs in our way when we were
They
younger.
did.
They always used to
Yeah.
end fucking with the Proclaimers, didn't they?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to do a bit of work in Wales. I used to work at Cardiff Walkabout. Not very often. I'd be there like the odd weekend in a summer. But Cardiff, I think I did Newport one. Newport, crikey, there's a place. Whew.
Cool.
You know, I'm sorry if there's anyone from Newport watching. I mean, it gives Wrexham a good name, I tell you. Hell of a place. But yeah, that's
It
yeah.
is.
I've done some work in Wales at the clubs. That yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm probably not going to get a job at the Welsh Tourist Board. But can I just say, I mean, I've done a lot of bike riding in Wales. That's great fun. The Dragon Ride at Bridgend, the mountains. Wales, probably the only part of Britain that you got 7 mile mountains. Jesus Christ! Come here and lose your ass on your bike. Lovely.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Was it a question? Go on, Ron.
What? I was going to ask, like, when you were obviously you said you were doing that with the radio, then you moved to Planet Rock. Was there, especially when you were learning, was there anything funny happen or anything that sticks out in your head? Really awkward moments, or
One of the ironically funny things was in my early days, they said they didn't like my name. There was this radio station. They were trying to, when I was working at 210 before they got rid of me after 7 weeks, they was like, I don't really like your name. It's not very radio. It's my name. It's like, okay. And I've discovered that if you want to have a radio name, you've got to have generic names where there's loads of you potentially in the phone book. And often you have 2 first names as a surname. Paul Anthony, I'm looking at you. So there you go. Honestly. And that's exactly what it is. You know,
That's what it is.
it is. It really, Jim Dale or something like that.
Yeah,
Or,
yeah.
you know, and I've said it for years, if you've got a generic English name, there's about 500 of you in the phone book, radio presenter name right there. No,
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter about the alliteration.
Yeah.
It could be anything like that. And Wyatt.
I've always thought your name sounds like, I don't want to offend you, but it sounds like a Bond villain.
But
Like, I can imagine you there with a white cat. And Bond's like, it's Wendels. It's that Wyatt Wendels.
yeah, it was. Well, it's after Wyatt Earp, the old sheriff from the early 1900s, and Wendels is Dutch. So this radio station were like, yeah, we're not name. We're not. You know, we want to change your voice. So I'm thinking now. Back then, radio's become a lot more real. Believe it or not. But then it's, hi, I talk like this. I'm on the radio. You're listening to, yes. So I love that. So picture the scene. It's 1998 and I'm thinking, I'll change my name to Chris Michael or something like that. I'll change my name. And I'm literally thinking of Chris. I thought Chris Michaels because, you know, I like the wrestler Shawn Michaels at the time. I took his surname and Chris with a K. I'm thinking Chris, Michael, 2 first names, make it plural, not... And then, hi, I'm Chris Michaels. I'm on the radio, and you're listening to me. And so I'm doing all this. And I listen back to some of the demos, and it's painful. They'll never see the light of day. So I'm doing all this, and they turn around and said, "No, you're not right for us. We're letting you go." I'm like, so I've changed my name, I've changed my voice, and you're telling me I'm not. So at that point, as it was, I think it was early '99. By then, I'm like, I'm never changing my name, and I'm never changing my voice. I'm just going to keep the same voice because. One of the first questions you always get is, what's your radio voice? And it's this. It's just, the only thing that changed, I might sound enthusiastic and happy. Because obviously if I've just rolled out of bed, which I now, because I'm only over there, the bedroom, if I want to roll out of bed, I'm only going to go on the air. Oh, Jesus Christ. Is it Monday again? Right. All right. It's Planet Rock. Here's Dio. You know, at least I can say, Jesus Christ, is it Monday again? Right. Here's Dio. You know, it's just an inflection. I'm not changing my tone. So that was ironically funny is that they wanted me to change my name and my voice, and I did that, and they still told me I wasn't right. So, but other than that, I mean, we've all made the mistake of swearing on the air. I can remember talking to a caller off the air once when I was at Essex FM, and this must have been about 15 years ago, and it was late night radio, and it was some woman phoned up, and she was telling me that she was in a kebab shop down the road, and we got talking about kebab fillings. But what I didn't realize was we're on the air talking about it. So there's, I mean, of all the things we could be talking about, at least we weren't talking about anything sexual or anything like that. We're talking about kebab. Oh, I love a doner on its own. Oh, don't you like the chili sauce? No. I like the really thin pita bread. And this is going out on the air. I'm like, late night Essex radio. You can listen to kebab fillings with Wyatt. It's late night Essex. It was like, oh. And then probably my favourite one in the early days when I turned pro at Radio Air in Leeds. I used to do the overnights. That was 2 till 6 in the morning. And I lived at the end of the road, and it was like a 5-minute walk. And what I used to do then is I used to have a sleep. I'd go to sleep about midnight, get up about 1:30, and walk to the station. And somehow I managed to oversleep. And it was like I sat bolt upright in bed. You get that feeling. My alarm's not gone off. It's gone off because I'll either turn it off and not realise, or I know I'm late. And it was like 1 minute to 2. So I get dressed and I bomb down there. And I'm thinking, what do I say? It was like my second week, and I knew the guy was on before me, and he was a good lad. I thought, I just didn't feel comfortable or confident enough to go and say, I'm really sorry I overslept. And so in my head, I'm thinking, I'll tell him I had a puncture, even though I live a 5-minute walk away. And I was trying to fix that. Now, what Radio Air had, it was like an airlock. A lot of radio studios now, like we have at Planet Rock, you just open the door, you're in. But this was an old school one. So you'd have a really big door that was about 12 inches thick. And when you open that, you would then have to push open another one. Now, it was like a perfect storm because on the outside of the first door was the red on air light. So if it was on, you know not to go in. At the exact moment, I thought, I'm going to go in now. I'm going to act all flustered. And I had this story about how the car was knackered and all this. I was going to, and I look up and the light is off. Now, it probably took a few seconds to open this huge door, walk through this little gap, to push open that door. Well, in the moment that I've opened this door and gone to push it, the red light's gone on because he's about to speak, and I've just pushed the second door and I'm gone, fuck me, what a night I've had, as he's on the air. And he looked at me, just stonewalled, and without missing a beat, he goes, well, it sounds like Wyatt's had a hell of a night. He'll tell you all about it next. I'm thinking, yeah, I could have timed that any better. I really couldn't.
That's brilliant.
So yeah, that was probably the last sort of radio story that would make it into an anecdote in an anecdote in a book or something like that. But other than that, I'm a model professional.
Yeah. Is there anybody you've interviewed? I know you ain't gonna say, but is there anybody interviewed that you were kind of bowled over with? You thought you knew them, but then they came and brought something else. I was going to say the other thing, has anybody let you down? But you're not going to say.
Oh yeah, I would. I'd happily say.
Oh, would you? Would you?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Let's do that then.
And the reason I'll say is because there was no one of any note. So when there was a band called Beware of Dog. Now you probably wouldn't have heard of them. They were a new rock band about 7 years ago. They were an American band.
Yeah.
And they came over for a live interview. And they came over for interviews live. Obviously, they wouldn't do it if they were dead. But it was a pre-recorded one. And I don't know what was wrong with the singer. I don't know if he was stoned and it was just it was talking about the second album. And I think it was a real basic, the kind of question I generally hate. It was like, so has the second album come along? Real potatoes stock question that most singers just roll their eyes out. I've answered this 20 times today. And he looked at me and I thought, is he having a fit? He just stared at me and went, I'm sorry, could you repeat the question again? I'm like, yeah, the second album, how's it going? He just stared at me. I'm like, just like that. I'm thinking, right, if a member of the Rolling Stones or Bon Jovi or Guns N' Roses want to do this, I'll take it. But you've never done a gig in the UK. So,
wow.
But that was people are actually often asked who was the bad ones. I've honestly never had a bad one. And the train of thought is, if they've been doing it a long time, they can't be bothered and don't want to do it. It's actually the reverse. The older they are, the longer they've been doing it, the nicer they are, because they're doing it because they either feel they have to or they have an appreciation for what goes into it. So there's been some in my earlier days of Planet Rock, I used to be given the interviews that no one else wanted. When I was new, I was literally given interviews that people did. It was almost a joke. Oh, Michael Schenker, oh, nightmare, Wyatt can have him. This kind of thing. It was like, because back then, we're talking 8 years ago, he was coming off a hefty reputation of being a real, and he was. I've talked about it with a big drinker. I mean, we're talking beyond the rugby club in the Welsh Village Friday night kind of big drinking. We're talking he was a mess, and he still carried the reputation of being difficult. And I went in there, and he absolutely got himself together. And he's got the longest fingers in the world. If you ever see Michael Schenker's fingers, just look at them. They're like ETs. I don't know what he's done to them, or what. They're massive. Just honestly, he often points in photos. Check out Michael Schenker's fingers. Honestly, you want
really want to see
unreal.
those fingers.
Because when he was in a picture of me like that, and I'm thinking, I'm doing that, I'm thinking, Christ alive, how big are your fingers? And then Bill Wyman, he had a reputation of being difficult and awkward. And I thought, well, we're not going to mention Mandy Smith. We'll avoid that one. And he was good. And as I found, it's not really a trick. It's something I discovered that if you talk to the bigger names, the biggest names, if you are talking about something beyond the obvious that interests them or excites them, and is beyond the stock meat and potatoes boring stuff, they will come alive. So I know this sounds really dull and boring. Do you know what brought Bill Wyman alive? It wasn't talking about playing bass in the Rolling Stones. Metal detecting near his home in Suffolk, because he goes looking for antiques. And I knew that.
Right.
He starts talking about that, and he's animated. And after that, you can talk to him about anything, because you've got him on his core subject. And still on the Rolling Stones, I remember doing an interview with Ronnie Wood. And when he was doing a blues gig in his solo band, I'm thinking, he doesn't want to talk about, even though I have to talk about the Stones, but he's not here. So how do I get him in a place that he's enthusiastic, happy, and will happily talk about anything? Because honestly, the trick is when you engage them, you can literally talk to them about anything that's relevant. I talked to Ronnie Wood about his art, his painting. He's a massive art fan, loves it. And after that,
I've seen his stuff. It's amazing.
Then I thought, well, I love slide guitar, so we started talking about the blues. And before you know, at the end, we tack on a bit about the Stones. And one question, he's away. I don't have to. He's going for it. He's just waxing lyrical. And I found that's often the key. I thought John Bon Jovi, who was the last face-to-face interview I did the week before lockdown, I knew he was a tricky customer, as in he had a reputation of being interviewed by numbers. He's done so many. It's John Bon Jovi. He'd be really wooden. And I thought, okay, I don't think I can talk to him about anything. I don't think I've got anything on Bon Jovi that will open him up. Acting, but he's done loads of that. I thought, okay, let's, rather than say, and it's true, I grew up with Bon Jovi and I got into them at the age of 11. But I didn't go in the route of Living on a Prayer or Shot Through the You Could Love a Bad Name, which how many people say that to him? He probably rolls his eyes. I said, what got me into Bon Jovi was Tokyo Rose off the 7,800 Degrees Fahrenheit album. It's an album track that only real Bon Jovi fans would know what it was. And weirdly, he just looked at me and became animated. He was like, oh, yeah, what a great song that is. And I thought, okay, maybe that. And he because he was quite wooden, because the producer who was with me was like, he was pretty stiff. And then he realized that you actually liked his stuff beyond the obvious. And he opened up. And weirdly, you'll find yourselves, you'll probably notice, if you're doing interviews and someone asks you the stock questions, you're going through the motions, you know what you've already said and what you're going to say. But I'll guarantee you, if somebody mentioned, I don't know, if your favorite football team, or if someone checked a village or where you're from, it would animate you. It'd bring you to life because it's a personal connection. And I realized really early on that was a key to getting interviews. I interviewed Geddy Lee the day.
Oh, don't go. He's gone again.
Back. Oh, we're back. We're back. I got Geddy Lee the day that the news broke about 4 years ago that Neil Peart was retiring. They weren't going to play anymore. Well, of course, we now know that he must have told him he had cancer. Mm-hmm. And he did an interview with our sister station, and I got told he's in a bad mood because all people want to talk to him about is Neil Peart. And he was talking about, I'll be honest, I can't remember what it was. It was something, I think it was something Geddy Lee related, not Rush related at this point. And I just said, I've got no intention of talking to him about Neil Peart. And I didn't. I deliberately avoided it because he was fed up, because that's all people wanted to talk to him about. Well, what about Neil? And obviously, as we now know, one of his best friends has probably just told him he's got cancer and has not gone along left. And okay. So I'll talk about, I made a point of actually just talking to him about what he actually wanted to talk about, because everyone was talking about Rush. And he was great as well. And it's just about knowing your audience, I suppose.
Yeah.
Knowing who you're talking to. Festival interviews, again, you'll know this. They're on the fly. They're stock questions. I mean, seriously, if you did Steelhouse, right? It's a festival in Wales. I guarantee you, someone's going to say to you, so how was this gig for you? Jesus Christ, Shane, Ronnie, what are you going to say? Well, it's Wales. We hate it here. It was a terrible gig. What are you gonna, seriously, you're only going to say, even if you had the worst sound, at best you might say, well, the condition challenging, but we had a good time. What do these interviewers think they're going to get out of people asking these stock questions? You know, and interviews are, festival interviews are the toughest because you often get them at no notice. Often you don't know who you're going to get. And I will never, ever ask, how was that gig for you? Unless something different happened, like there was a power cut or it rained exceptionally hard and their white suits got muddied. I will never say, how was that for you? Because what else are you going to say other than, oh, I enjoyed it? And the other reality is when there's this, us as listeners and viewers have this kind of ideology, this mythology that when bands like a Black Sabbath play a field near Birmingham, like a Download, that it's mythical to them, and it's not. Ultimately, it's a stage in a field, and there's very few festivals or gigs that will resonate with the band. All right, Iron Maiden with Download might have a connection, but ultimately, most bands couldn't give a shit where they are. It's like, you know, decent sound. They really don't. Oh, well, they might care if it's like, I can go home tonight. I've got a couple of days off. As radio listeners and interviewers, we think that bands are like obsessed about where they are. They're not. I guarantee most bass players won't have a bloody clue what time zone they're in, let alone what town. You know?
Mate, I tell you what.
So if you ever want to get into radio, or if you're doing interviews, just tell them, just do us a favor. Don't just ask us about the album and all that kind of stuff. Just keep it interesting, and we'll go with you. That's the key. Because it stops everyone getting bored. It really does.
No, yeah, it does, mate. I remember we've done a couple of interviews with you, but you don't tend to go off a script. You just, we're gonna have a chat, and it's like hit record and bang it in. That's quite rare.
Me and Shane said, so the first time we proper met you, when we came up to London, we did an interview. We were semi-prepared. We were like, right, Wyatt's going to be fucking bum, 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 bum. And you came in from a different angle. And I think me and Shane were like, fuck, we weren't expecting that. And it was really cool because then it's exactly what me and Shane just said before we came on to you. We were like, right, what are we going to do? I mean, Wyatt's a fucking pro. We're still learning this. And I said exactly the same. The cool thing is we met you. So to us, this now is like a chat with somebody we've met. It's just getting to know you a bit better. I mean, if the circumstances were different in the environment, we'd be having a beer after a gig now and saying, hey, man, that what you've been doing in the house has been brilliant. So it's exactly the same momentum. I mean, people have come on here and we've almost had to try and meet them via this. Like Ricky, when Ricky came on here, we've been wanting to sit down and chat to Ricky for fucking ages. So it was really a bizarre kind of place to meet and greet. But we did say that when we came up to meet you. We were expecting you to come in with one pro. And we were like, right, wicked. He's going to start with that. What's your favourite album? He just went, right, here we go. And you just turned it on his head. And we were like, fucking hell. It's like being down the pub with your mates. We didn't know what to expect, but it was comfortable as well. So that was a cool thing,
It's not a gimmick. And the weird thing is that there's a bit of history of why I did that and how it came to be that way. But I like the fact that still, and I've got no problem, there's always been misconceptions about me, but I know for a fact, even with people, even Darren I work with, used to, not so much now, in the early days, used to think I was hard.
All that thought, used to think I was.
Yeah, well, he used to think that the reason I know paper and it's because I hadn't prepared. And in the really early days, when I was just getting into radio, I remember reading a story about the old radio and TV presenter Dacre, and he used to do a show in London. And Chris Evans was a massive fan of his. Apparently, we're going back to the 80s now. He told the story of how he went into the studio in London to watch his idol Danny Baker perform, and he said there was no paper, nothing. It was all in his head. And he said it blew his mind. He says, one day I want to be like that. And I remember that point thinking, wow, what a concept. Imagine being able to do this without having to have papers everywhere. And when I read this story in about 1998, I thought I'd like to have a go at doing that. And then it became an organic thing because I didn't train myself as such. It became a case of, well, if you know who you're going to be talking to, you don't need a massive menu of questions. If you've got half a brain and you're halfway creative, which I like to think I am, and I can retain a bit of information, I know roughly what there is. I will know a bit about the subject. And I'll be completely honest, there's been some I've interviewed, I've known nothing about them. I've read a bit of a press release about what they're talking about, and I've still not gone in there with notes. I thought, okay, well, I know who they are and what they're most famous for. Off the top of my head, it could be like I've interviewed fashion designers who have, like John Vivatos, who manages the Hollywood Vampires. I could tell you nothing about him when I interviewed him 2 years ago. I just knew he interviewed, he managed the Hollywood Vampires, and he a designer who was over in London for London Fashion Week. That's all I had in my head, and the list of songs. And for years, it's always been that way. I'll talk to them. Now, there might be times I miss stuff out because I'm not working off a script, and I'm okay with that because it's natural. You know, I know I'll not miss anything major. It's not like I'm gonna talk to you and I'm gonna not talk about the new album you've got coming out in a month. I know the key stuff. And it's been that way ever since I've been at Planet Rock. And to be honest, I'm not going to change it because it works for me. And I'm happy if people want to think I'm half-assed, unprepared. And people do. Same at festivals. I mean, I've literally had a mic stuck in my hand and says, "Shine Down, can you do them now?" Well, where are they? They're behind you. And it's like, oh, and it really is, okay, right, we're off. And then my in will be, more often than not, my intro at a festival will be like, oh, it's something surreal and off the cuff. It's not, I'm with Shinedown who have just played. How was that for you? It'll be like, well, look at this state of this tent. It's seen better days. You ever been interviewing something this bad? Or it'll be something that just, whoever I'm talking to will go, well, in their mind, think, well, this isn't the norm. So yeah, I didn't, I've done interviews at festivals. We haven't even talked about the gig. It's just been surreal. And there's more in that because it's not predictable. It's not formulaic. I mean, I watch Sky Sports News. Jesus Christ. Honestly, I'm throwing things at the TV after 10 minutes. It's like, get some creativity. The football team have won 3-0. Asking the manager, how do you feel? What do you think he's going to say? I feel better if we won 4. Jesus Christ. I mean, what? These are pros, though. These are pros who do this week after week. You lost the game today. Why do you think that is? Because they scored more goals than us.
That must, the way you do that, there must be a huge amount of confidence in yourself. You don't get flustered. Do you get nervous? Is there any big stars the day before you're thinking?
No. Honestly, again, I'm not saying this for show. I think I might have a psychopath's bloodline without the urge to kill. Things like that, I could be emotionless. And I can back this up because I, 3 years ago, got flown to Germany to do all of Aerosmith separately. So I get to do the 3 that no one offers their names, the other 3, and then Steven Tyler and Joe Perry separately. Now they're my lifelong favorite band. I've been flown to Germany to interview these. Didn't bat an eyelid. Nikki Sixx, Motley Crue and Aerosmith, my all-time favorite bands. I've interviewed Nikki Sixx 2 or 3 times. No problem at all. No problem at all.
Is that just because you know the background, the history of the bands? Is that what you're saying? Because
I think so. I mean, I don't get starstruck. I never have. Although I am, I know you're never going to believe this. I know for a fact this, but I am quite shy. No one believes that. If you put me in front of people I don't know, you will have to talk to me. If you introduce me, great. And if you engage me, I'm not saying I think I'm better than anyone, you have to talk to me or I'm not going to talk to you. I just can't do it. I cannot bowl into a room and go, hi, everyone, I'm here. I'm Wyatt. Please come and I can't hold court. But if I know you, I'll talk to whoever. And so anyone who knows me thinks shy, really. But download 2015. This is the last time. And there's an example of my shyness. If I'd have interviewed this person, I'd have been absolutely fine. So doing interviews in the VIP and the backstage area download. And this is the year that Motley Crue did their final ever, as it was then, final ever UK appearance. Now, at this point, I've already done an interview with Nikki Sixx before. I've interviewed Kiss. I've done, I've Zakk Wylde, this kind of thing. I've done big names, not batting an eyelid. Well, as I'm walking back, the producer at the time says, Tommy Lee's standing there. I looked over and Tommy Lee was just standing in by a tent and
what?
He was just
stood going somewhere.
And said, "Oh, we're back." Yeah. So I was saying that. So the producer said Tommy Lee stood over there, and he was on his own. He's just been doing interviews, and he was literally on his own. He was just stood there, looking like Tommy Lee with his vest on, looking happy. And the producer said, "Why don't you just go and get a picture with him?" I'm like, "No." He says, Tommy Lee, your son's named after him. I'm like, I know, yeah, my son's called Tommy Lee. And I'm like, no. If I was interviewing him and he said, we'll go over it, I'll be like, yeah. And I'm like, I can't do it. I just cannot. I cannot go over to Tommy Lee and say, hi, I work for Planet Rock. Would you mind if I get a picture of you? And no, let it go. So, and
wow.
But if it was the professional arena and I had to interview him, I'd have been fine. But that shyness, never met him. If I saw Nikki Sixx now, I'd have no problem. Same with, other people. If I've only met them once, I'd have no problem saying, oh, hi, I met you a couple of years ago when you came into Planet Rock or whatever. I've been lucky that they've all acknowledged me, or either that or they've acted very well. But yeah, meeting a musician for the first time, you're never going to get me going up to him. It's never going to happen. And then, of course, the flip side of that is then there's musicians I've not met that many times who I think won't know me or care. And I've got two examples of this. I remember being at Ramblin' Man for a couple of years ago, and the Cadillac 3 were there, and Jaron Johnson, the singer, at that point, I spoke to him a few times, but, I just didn't think he really cared that much. And I could see, I was on my phone, and I thought the phone call's ended, and he's there, but if I walk up to him and be like, oh, so I thought I'll just pretend I'm playing a game on my phone, like I'm distracted. And the next day he came in for interview. He goes, oh, I saw you around him. I was going to come and say hello, but you're on your phone. I'm thinking, I wasn't on my phone. I was pretending. And the other one was there was a Hailstorm interview, and I'd interviewed Lizzie and RJ at that point twice. And you just sit there, they're not going to remember me there, by the by. And I remember I was doing a show, and I was looking down at the keyboard. I might be pretending I was on my phone again or doing something. And the Planet Rock studio has this big window in front. So where people come out of the lift, you can see everyone. They have to come past the Planet Rock studio. And there was a shadow in front of me. And it was there for a while. And I didn't really acknowledge it. And I thought, what is that shadow? And it was Lizzie Hale just stood like that on the window, covering it up as if trying to get my attention. I'm looking out thinking, oh, hi. She goes, oh my God. And I open the door. She's like, I've been trying to get your attention for the last 2 minutes. And inside I'm thinking, but I didn't think you knew who I was. So, So, I'd rather be that than a big-headed prick. I'm never going to be, I'm always going to have imposter syndrome. I'm always going to think when someone suggests something like symbols of appreciation, I'm always going to think, well, me? Why would anyone care? And it's not putting myself down. I suppose it is a bit. I just sometimes think, oh, the talent police are going to turn up and say, you've had your fill. That's it. You've had 20 odd years. Off you go now. Let someone else have a go. And I'll take that personality trait over being a big-headed tosspot. Thinks they're the bollocks. So
what cracks me up online in particular is when people do get the wrong side of you.
Oh,
and then they kind of, I don't want to relive it, but some things they just say, and then your reaction to it is just, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. It's so funny. It cracks me right up.
Yeah.
Well, as you know, as you've probably discovered yourself, trolls will always be around, and they are the thickest people more often, like the thickest pig shit. You cannot reason with them. You can't. I used to think you could bring them down to your level and then beat them with experience. You just can't. They would argue that the time's wrong. You could tell them the date and they'd say it's wrong. And sometimes a lot of them I'll let it go. What I have a problem with, and I get this, and I've had it in the last couple of weeks, is when people tell me I personally have said things. And my favorite is where they actually quote me. I don't know where they get these quotes from. Like, you said this on the air, and they'll put speech marks. And when I know it's a blatant lie or they're just completely wrong, then I'll just go for them. Absolutely go for them.
Yeah.
Most of you got. It's good because and I know in the end they'll block me, and that's a victory right there. They'll call me something and then they'll block me. And I don't need to bully anyone. I don't need to gang up anyone. I get accused of, you retweeted it so your followers can see, so they'll all pile in on them. My followers could say nothing. I'm retweeting it so people can see how dumb you are, not because I want them to fight for me. Because when you retweet someone, using Twitter as an example, you get to see what they've put in your response. If I just put my response out of context, most people don't want to go fishing through. So it's like, okay. And I'm okay with that. Online grief, I get it all the time. Honestly, I've said it. No one at Planet Rock gets it as much as me. Of the three daytime presenters, my theory. I don't know what my theory is on the reason why. Maybe I'm the more outspoken of the three. I don't know. But my emails, I get them personal emails. I get told to shut up. I get called stupid, talentless, whatever. There was a guy last month, kept sending emails saying, "Why don't you just shut up?" And I would just write back, "No." "Why don't you just play a song?" "No." And I would just one word on, and he stopped emailing.
Yeah.
But the saddest ones of all are like the ones that will abuse it. And I've had this before. They'll abuse you. And sometimes over the years, I used to be terrible. I used to fight. My language was atrocious. It was looking back, I'm thinking I wouldn't do that now, probably because I've got a young son who can probably read my tweets. But then it was like, but they would get offended, so they complain. It's like the people who abuse the footballers at the matches. And then the footballer flips them off at the end, and then they run to the shoes or the police. Did you see what you just...
Yeah.
People complain to management about me because they've abused me and I've responded in a way they don't think's appropriate.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely nonsense. Yeah, but I'm at the point now. I know the boundaries. I know what I can do. I know libel. I know slander. And whilst I'm not deliberately goading them, I know what I can say. That if anyone wants to complain, I will have. You have that inevitable paper trail where it's like, "Wyatt, just got this. What's this about? Here you go. Here's the context," and it'll be like, "Oh, it's honestly nothing." Here's one. Last year, I was told that I don't play enough. I can't remember what band it was. It was a band. You never play these. I said, "Would you listen 24/7?" Because I do. It was like, "Well, you don't play enough." I said, "Well, make your mind up. You said I don't play them. Now I've told you I do. Now you say I don't play enough. You don't even know when I play them, do you?" And this conversation went on like that. I said, "What is it? I don't play them. I don't play enough. Is it?" And then it was like, "Play it, or I'm going to stop listening." And I just put, "I don't negotiate with musical terrorists."
Yeah.
And they complained to the radio station.
I see now.
That was the last big complaint. They complained and said he just called me a terrorist. I'm like, so then you go through the motions. And to be honest, even though you'd rather not have that paper trail to deal with, it's emotion I'll go with to a point, because it's like, it's so ridiculous. I mean, management often, and rightly say, your best response is no response. And I know they're right. And I'm not one of those people. I'm not that hot-headed anymore that all you got to say is, "Your mum's a fat tart," and I'm just going, or something like that. You can't trigger me with basic insults like that. But occasionally, I might just think, "Oh, this will be fun." Honestly, I think, well, this will be fun. This will kill a few hours on the train. Let's see how far this goes.
Yeah, absolutely, mate.
You can often...
From an early age, the boys, I'd always go on with my dad. My dad passed away now 10 years, but I'd always say to the boys, my dad drilled it into me, you speak to people as they speak, as you've spoken to. So if someone gives it, give it back. But then they take real offense because you've responded. It's insane. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. It beggars belief. And as the world is discovering with online, it's the people that lie the most and shout the most negativity that seem to be heard over, I mean, without going down this avenue of dark, politicians, angles, agendas, left wing, right wing. It's those. We're in a position now where people can just literally lie loudly and it's believed. Yet you speak a quiet truth and you're almost ignored or forgotten. Yeah. It's just such a weird way that a lot of people seem to live. And I said I've adjusted to the 2013 version of me was always in trouble at work. There was a spare studio in our old building, and I think it was like Studio 4, and I used to call it Wyatt's disciplinary room, because the amount of times I was in there, or why did you say this? What did you mean when you said this? And I can remember, I laugh now, but I would never say this to someone now because I know what happened. I was getting so much abuse off someone, and I said, I have deleted the tweet, so you won't find it. I said, why don't you tell your mum to go and have a wank and think about me? And just kind of said, it was something like that. And he went and he complained to the radio station. I had to, and it was awkward because I had to, well, he did deserve it. And I'm thinking I could never say that. I wouldn't say it now because I've evolved and I know the mentality more of these people. So if I was going to say something like that, I'd word it better. But it just came naturally.
But the 2013 Wyatt was all over that,
yeah. Because in 2013, I'm convinced I changed the way Twitter worked. Because in 2013, when you retweeted someone, you could change their tweet. You can't do it now. Now it's a quote. But then I used to, and this used to get me in all kinds of shit. And these arguments online, I used to do #filth. So I would find people who would tweet things, and I would change a word of their tweet, and then hashtag filth.
Yes.
So
yes.
I can't wait to go out tonight. I can't wait to wank tonight. It would be something like that. Hashtag filth. But of course, and it will be stuff like that. You know, and someone would put, my parents have gone out tonight. I love being on my own. And I changed it to, my parents have gone out tonight. I love being alone with my vibrators. Hashtag filth. But so the reaction, so the thing was, people had come back and said, I didn't say that. And I go, yes, you did. It's there. I've just quoted it. And then around 2014, 2015, Twitter changed it. So when you retweeted someone, it was a quote. You can't mess with the original text. I'm convinced that I had something to do with that, because I spent months.
Thank God Twitter changed that, because perhaps you wouldn't have a job now.
It was, yeah. It was, I mean, hashtag filth. It was exactly that. And I businessmen, teenagers, old people, married people, businessmen, blue tick people. I was changing all their tweets. But yeah.
Oh, mate, that's fantastic. Right, let's talk about serious stuff. What's this about you and the Black Spiders? What is going on?
That come about? Yeah, that broke today, didn't it? Well,
yeah.
You were talking about symbols of appreciation without, and I was saying earlier about trying to find a silver lining in this mad world. Without the pandemic, without the lockdown, without symbols of appreciation, this wouldn't have happened. So of course we go into lockdown and symbols of appreciations begin. Now the weird thing is, I knew of the Black Spiders because I remember playing Kiss Tried to Kill Me, which was their big single about 7 years ago on the New Rock Show. And I also interviewed them at the last Sonosphere. And I remember them doing their farewell tour, final tour, about 3 years ago. And to be honest, I thought nothing more of it. It was just one of them things. Oh, another band bites the dust type scenario. And I know Pete Spivey from the band brought out a solo album about a year or so ago. So I always knew his name. Well, he emailed me and was just messaging saying how much he enjoyed Symbols of Appreciation, but he hadn't mentioned anything about music. And I recognized the name. And I thought, oh, it's Pete he used to be in the Black Spiders. And then he openly admits now to, as he puts it, grooming me, because it was like, well, are you doing anything at the moment? You know, are you? Of course, at this point, no one's doing anything. So I'm thinking, and I've been saying for years, if the right opportunity, it sounds really cliche, the right project came along that I could do it, I wouldn't want to join a pub band or a tribute band and go out playing a gig or two a month, or I wouldn't want to start again trying to get a record deal. And I'm never going to be joining an arena band or anything like that. But if something came along where I could get the best of both worlds, where I could be a radio presenter and still do this, then great. But in my head, realistically, I'm thinking it's not going to happen. But then no one saw a pandemic coming. And he said, look, we're looking at doing something at this point, and this is only 7-8 weeks ago. He said, we're looking at, maybe recording a few songs. And would you be interested? And I thought, I can record till the cows come home. I've got either a studio beneath me and at that point, I thought the Black Spiders were a London-based band. I didn't realize they're all South York. They're all Yorkshire, and I'm in Yorkshire. I'm thinking they're a local band. So we had this bizarre, surreal scenario that I've never had in my life. They said, look, we want to record some tracks for a potential album. So they booked the studio that Massive Wagons have used and a load of bands have used in Doncaster. And he said, would you want to record these 3 tracks? And then he goes, well, maybe we should get you to record a rough drum track. I'm thinking, yeah, because somebody's probably realized I could be shit. You haven't met me. I reckon someone else in the band says, have you heard this guy play apart from on some video in his garage? I mean, it could just be a bedroom drummer. So I did a rough backing track, which wasn't great, but it was in time. And he goes, all right, then. So I go to the studio on this this Sunday morning, and the producer's a little bit, it was nice, but it was just, there was something in the air, a bit edgy, it was a bit like, who are you? And he turned around, he goes, I've got to be honest. He says, this is bizarre. He says, they told me that they've got someone coming down to record some tracks. I said, you know him? They said, no. I said, have you met him? He said, no. And the producer said, so none of you have met him. None of you have spoken to him. You've never rehearsed with him. You've let alone recorded with him. You're inviting him into my studio. I've never met him. He could be a fucking psychopath. So, of course, I'm thinking, I'll be all right. I've got this. I got it. And I did them 3 tracks. I've got to be honest. I've obviously recorded before. I've done albums before. I've done tracks before. And I just, like I said earlier, taking lessons from all over the world. I thought, let's just, without overplaying, let's see what I can get down. And the 3 tracks I did, a couple of them, I'm looking at thinking, if if you told me that was Mike Portnoy, I know I'm bigging myself up here. If you told me that was Mike Portnoy, I'd be like, Jesus Christ, that boy can play. I'm listening, thinking, what the hell am I doing there? I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm not just randomly doing it. I'm thinking, bloody hell, I did get quite good. Jesus Christ. And it was organic. You know,
That's awesome.
It was organic. It was recorded in takes, none of this. Well, we'll do a bit of a song, and I really want to get a good fill in. So we'll get the metronome doing. You just do 500 fills in a row, and we'll take 2 of the best ones. Yeah, I did like 3 or 4 takes, and I go, okay, there was a nice fill in that one, but it was organic. It was from beginning to end, and from there, it was like, well, why don't you join? You know, it's join. So I'm like, all right. Well, you're thinking, well, where do we go from here? I can tell you now where we go from here is an album and an EP. I think the EP will be this year and the album will be next year. There is an offer for a tour next year, which I'm pretty sure will be accepted. It's in the balance whether it will happen because of where we are. Yeah. But every time I think, and this is how I balance it, every time I think to myself, oh man, this pandemic's terrible from a musical, which it is. We know it is. Oh, when can we gig again? I'm thinking, if it wasn't for this pandemic, I would not be in this position. Because of appreciation, which only existed because of the pandemic. I would not now be in this band. So I've been in the studio the last couple of days. I've done 10 tracks so far. The band literally announced today they're coming back, sorted out a Patreon site, trying to sort out management again and seeing about a label, and because these studios ain't cheap, as you know. And so, yeah, we're going to be recording for the next few weeks. So, yeah, that's the plan. And I'm like, wow, this happened quick. There's pictures of me online. Of course, now I'm having to deal with that drummer replaces much loved former drummer. I'm thinking, oh. And then of course I'm getting the comments that, oh, it won't be the same without him. I'm thinking, oh Christ, here we go. But you know, can I just say for those that have, or if anyone sees that had made those comments, my playing, Jesus Christ, even I'm falling in love with myself. Seriously, 30-second note fills, 2-footed stuff I've never even tried to put down and nail it in 2 takes. I'm like, wow, this boy can play a bit. So yeah, all I'm saying is people like the band, and I didn't really know their stuff, a lot of them. And I listened to their, I mean, their first album is a hell of an album. It really is. And I can say it as a music fan.
Yeah. We were traveling up to London before we put it on in the van, and this is like early doors. I remember some of the boys in the band saying, fucking hell, who's this band? And I said, sadly, they're not round. They just fucking split up, like, you know, but we still do that. We listen to like 3 Colors Red or a lot of bands that are not around that have class fucking things. You shouldn't forget that. Do you know what I mean? You shouldn't forget those acts, like, so. Yeah.
I mean, that first. When I
seen today, I seen your post. I kind of started watching the video. I was like, what's this all about then? Because I kind of spoke to you a little bit online. I was like, all right. And then when I seen them start to speak about it, I was like, no fucking way. That's crazy. That's amazing. So I didn't watch the video because I wanted you to explain it.
Well, it was like the videos have come out, and it's obviously announcing the comeback of the band, and it is about the comeback of the band. The fact that there's a new drummer is almost by the by, which is fine. I've got my career. I'm all right. It's like so, and that's fine. And then you know, and then there's bits. What you don't realize is actually bits of new songs playing as overtures towards the end. But it was when I was recording I've done 3 sessions so far, and I got their first album out, Sons of the North. I'm like, the songs on it, gee, I can't wait to do some of these live. I mean, there's bits of Airborne, AC/DC, Black Sabbath. There's loads of Cowbell. I mean, it's just some great songs. So there is an offer for a tour next spring. There is offers for a festival or 2 in the spring or the summer. Worst case scenario, we don't get as an industry, we can't go out yet. It will just get pushed. So that it will happen, and when it does, you yourself will all be ready to go again, and it'll be a case of the band themselves are a similar age to me, similar commitments, similar lifestyles. So a lot of people have said, why did they call it a day? Well, the fact was they were running themselves into the ground, and it wasn't viable financially, and they had families and stuff. So now the work ethic now is, let's do the right things rather than everything. Yeah. So 2 or 3 week tours here and there works for everyone. You know, worst case from my point of view, you know, take a holiday. In fact, the way the world is now, I can take what I'm talking to you on the road and do it from hotel rooms and venues. Yeah. So that's the plan to get the EP. Probably the EP will come first, album next year, and then the touring will be back, and we'll see what happens.
You got to be buzzed. I can see you buzzed. You're excited about it.
I love
Well,
it.
yeah, I'm a musician first and foremost.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
listen, I'm the guy
Exactly.
that accidentally got himself a stick endorsement deal last year.
Yeah.
I got this is kind of funny. I got a stick endorsement deal off Winston. It was Dane Campbell of Phil Campbell's son from Phil Campbell and the Sons.
Yep.
And we've kind of been friends for a few years. He said, I can hook you up. Well, if anyone says they can hook me up, I'll take it because it's free, and then I'll worry about what to do afterwards. Well, I wasn't in a band, and they said we can give you custom sticks. I'm like, well, what would I put on it? And I'm like, I've got no band, so I literally put my signature and then the radio station logo. But I made a mistake with the order. I think I wanted to order 10 pairs. I ordered 100. So downstairs, I've got a cupboard full of sticks that would last 2 world tours, and now I can finally use them. Now I'm thinking, well, I need to get a band logo on there. But I always knew, I just didn't know when, that I would do something. And I knew it wouldn't be, and no disrespect to these people who do this, because that's absolutely fine for work for them. If you want to play the Dog and Duck and the Georgian Dragon once a month and play covers and play linear, great. That for me, no. And like I said, I'm honest enough to know I'm not going to be joining Nickelback or Muse or anyone like that. So something at that middle ground, something real potential that's got a bit of history and a bit of a cult following that I can come to and almost be the underdog again, because it's a band that had their success without me, and I'm replacing someone that they already liked. And it's like, okay, I get to prove myself all over again and have some fun. And looking at the venues that are on offer for this tour next year, it's like, whoa, hello, not played here before. That's quite big. It's
awesome.
So yeah, I look forward to it. But if it happens, sorry, go on.
When was the last live show you did?
Last live show. Now
Drumming,
you're talking.
obviously.
Drumming would be. Let me think. Would have been the summer of 20. It would have been about 2 years ago. I was. There was a solo girl who was a blues rock guitarist, sort of blues rock pop stuff. Was doing it's called Gabriella Jones, and she did a bit of stuff. And I originally she got in touch because she was playing Rockstock and didn't have a drummer.
Right.
And she goes, "Do you know anyone who could help?" This was like 3 years. I'm like, "Well, actually, since I'm going to be there,
Yeah.
so
I got my own sticks and everything.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, got loads. Got light up ones as well. So that turned into what was going to be one gig, turned into and recorded a single, and then that sort of just came to a natural conclusion. It was I couldn't do much more, and at that point I thought, oh, all right, now what? Let's just get a load of custom sticks that I can never do anything with, and wait and see what happens. But it was funny because this sounds like a really lame name drop, and it's not. I'm friends with Justin Hawkins of The Darkness, who was on the charity single I did. And he always keeps saying, but you're a really good drummer. You should do something sometime. I'm like, well, if you want to get rid of Roger Taylor's son from the band, we could do something. He goes, you never know one day. I thought, oh, yeah. Of course, I'm thinking, would it be good to join The Darkness? That'd be a good gig, yeah. Never thinking it'd happen. But I'm thinking, well, that's not going to happen. I'll probably never do anything again. And then here we are. So worst case scenario, an album and an EP, and then back out on the road next year. I mean, what a dream to tour with I am. I like me early nights. I'm teetotal. Yeah. I'm only going to smash the rider or smash the place up.
Brilliant.
So yeah, back out on the road again. We'll be crossing paths in our own respective worlds at some point. You imagine?
Yes.
Well, and I can imagine, especially Black Spiders, you'll be on festivals as well. So
yeah, there's an inevitability. I've already thought of that. I'm thinking of all the bands of similar ilk, or even those that are above us. I've got no problem with that. Bands that are headlining, yourselves, your Stonebrokens, your Massive Wagons, your Black Star Riders, that play that kind of pick a number between a 300 capacity and a 700 or 800 capacity. You end up, you see the same face. It's not a bad, it's nice when you see the same old faces. It's nice to see the same old faces when I'm interviewing them backstage, but to be a musician and to, I can't wait to do that again. And so, Ronnie, me and you could talk about how bad the sound is for the drums or whatever. It's like, geez, that drum rise, I'm going to fall for it. I miss those conversations. I miss being able to talk about how shit the foldback is. I couldn't hear a bloody thing. And every harmony was 2 pitches out. Talking in the...
Here's one for you now. You've gone to... I noticed you've got like the newest Roland kit. What's your live kit? What's your acoustic kit?
At the moment, it is. I mean, I've got the most unsubtle kit. It's a translucent. It's a DW. It's
Oh, yeah, yeah.
translucent, but it's only translucent when it's switched off because it lights up the whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about just the bass drum. The whole thing. It's a 6-piece with a lot of cymbals, and it comes with. I'm not joking. It comes with his own mixing desk. It's his little mixer. About that, I can either have it next to me, or it can literally be plugged to the lighting desk, and you can phase across 6 lights. You can strobe it. You can. It's DW, so it's not rubbish. But
Yeah.
I mean, even Keith Moon would have probably said, I don't know about that. So yeah. You know what I mean? It's when the pink ones come on, it's like, all right, I'm not so sure. We're not doing ABBA now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So ultimately, I'm a DW guy, formerly Pearl. I started on Pearl, but yeah. So Roland is the stuff that I work on from home. W and Tama. So I've got DW drums with Tama, but I'm open to any offers that you give me the gear. And I'm easily swayed. I'll prostitute myself. Don't worry.
Hashtag filthy. That's brilliant.
Hashtag Phil. Yeah, I'll prostitute myself. Hashtag Phil.
Mate,
geez.
absolute class. I can't believe how many people going nuts now about your sticks, asking, can we have them in a crow competition?
Do you know, it's right, true story. Now, one of these true stories, when these came out, there was some eyebrow in my work because I was open about it. I said, look, I want to put them on sticks. Well, I don't know if it's HR or the powers that be that look after Planet Rock were like, yeah, our logo's in circulation. Now, on one hand, you think, yeah, but all that advertising, why don't you, free selling them and profiting off of the logo. And I said, the only way anyone's getting these is if I'm at a gig or to be fair, the ones I recorded You're the Voice with last year, I gave away. But beyond that, yeah, you can have. I'll never sell them. You can have them, but you'll get the broken ones at the gig because you ain't getting a new one. That's for sure. Not with all that grit tape on that cost £6 a go. I'm a tight northerner.
That's brilliant.
Not just tight northerner, Wyatt. I get loads of people, and it's it's an honour. Can I have a pair of your sticks? I'll have those ones. I'm thinking, I haven't even fucking used them. No. I'm gonna at least let me hit them.
Yeah.
At least let me play the song, and then I'll give it away. So yeah.
Yeah. True story about this, right? I did a gig in the mid-90s, at a festival in Milton Keynes, and it was one of those of the massive tents. So if you threw a stick up, you'd be waiting a long time for it to hit anything to come back down. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to give it some. I'll throw out a load of sticks at the end. Well, the night before we'd done a gig, I think somewhere in Northampton, and I hadn't stolen it. I found someone had left an old stick bag in this shitty little dress in this Northampton gig. And it was all battered sticks. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to stick them in my bag for the gig tomorrow and pretend they're mine. So at the end of this gig at Milton Keynes, there's a good stick in my hand. Let's put the other good one in the bag, pull out all the other one, just start chucking them out. They're my sticks. They're getting a little old tap from a gig in Northampton that I found. I mean, I wouldn't con people like that now, but as a 21-year-old, even in the mid-90s, £7 a pair of sticks. A lot of money to be dishing out as freebies.
Yeah. That was pre-2013. That was when you changed, wasn't it? He's gone. That's brilliant.
Well, we froze for there. Did it freeze? No.
Yeah, he's definitely frozen.
Yep. I'm seeing if it's going to kick back in. No.
He's gone, have he?
Yeah, I think so. I think his neck is just freezing over there. Yeah, that's
a shame.
There. Black spiders, mate, great. I remember.
Well, yeah, you introduced me to him, yeah.
Yeah, we did a gig. Camden. That was going back. Fucking hell, that's going back some years. That is.
Yeah.
I want to say, what was that like festival day thing? Camden Rocks, man.
Camden Rocks, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was something like that we were doing because it was the whole like, I got a fucking wicked Batman. Have you heard of these? Because we were always doing that whole thing. Have you heard of these, Shane? And I remember playing them in the van, and a lot of the boys were like, "Who the fuck are these?" And it was like blaring rock and roll riffs and stuff. And I was like, "Yeah, man, that's the Black Spiders, like." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, very cool, very cool.
I'm just thinking there's somebody who probably caught one of those shit sticks is probably in charge of the internet round here. Come me, I'll cut him off. Oh,
but yeah, we were just saying, I can definitely see us hooking up and doing some shows together. That was honestly, it's really, really, really super exciting news because I only caught half of that video because I purposely, like your method of having a chat, I was like, nope, I don't want to fucking spoil anymore. I just rather kind of see it. I want to know what it's all about. I could see the two guys speaking and about their heritage and what's been going on. And when I seen you introduced, I was like, fuck, he's got a job. That's amazing.
All I'll say, I'm not going to give too many spoilers away, but the plan is to release an EP. And I had the idea of bringing out a single that's not on the EP, but will be on the album. And if it goes the way I hope it goes, this single is killer. It's really good. You know, when you can hear songs, you can go, "Oh, that'll be good live. That's an album track," you know. But then some jump out at you, and you think, because I work in radio, and I'm thinking, I can hear this on the radio. And by the way, I get no privileges for being on the radio. That's the thing. I've been completely transparent about it. So when something goes to playlist, I absolve myself from it. I'll say, look, I like this track. Do with it what you will. And if I want to play it, say on the New Rock Show, I will get permission first rather than just playing me. Just so, I'm not saying it'll be hard to do. It's just so no one can say, "Oh, he's just playing his own stuff" or whatever. So, but this song, if it's the single that I hope it is, honestly, it's a banger, absolute banger. And that's just one of the. I think I'm recording about 25 or 30 songs over the next few months. So, yeah, and it's like, and then I've heard their live staple songs from when they were together, which I didn't even know, and I'm like, wow, man, Jeez, I can't wait to play this. I can just see people leaping around. I got cowbell in there, 2 feet in there. You know, what can I do to add myself without ruining the original? That kind of thing. So people can stop comparing me to the old drummer. That kind of thing.
Wyatt, I'm so pleased for you, bud. I mean, we've said it, myself and Ron. You're a great drummer. You should be in a band, and what a perfect band to join, man. We're so pleased. Buddy, we got to leave it there because we have to do some writing tonight. But thank you so much, buddy, for joining us.
No worries. And if you want a pair of sticks, if someone wants to, you want to give them away, feel free. I've got an awful lot of pairs.
Yeah,
I've got a lot.
That's amazing. We'll do that. We'll take you up on that, buddy.
All right, no worries. I'll get them sent out to you.
Fantastic.
Yeah, whenever you want us to kind of pop up to the studio up in Doncaster to have a little listen, we're absolutely
it'd be great. Yeah, like I said, there's gonna be a lot of recording days over the coming months. I mean, guitar's done today, some more vocals tomorrow. It's pretty full on at the moment.
Yeah, tell the guys, like, you know, say the CROWS fucking love the band, like, so yeah, if there's ever a day you're kind of hopping around, we'll happily jump in a car and come up and see you in person from a distance.
Yeah. Don't you start, fucking hell. Socially distanced, of course. Jesus Christ.
Of course.
Well, if it's so, of course, don't bloody say it. But yeah, it's been brilliant. Listen, thanks for having me, and we'll definitely catch up soon for sure.
Definitely,
Thank you, man.
Nice one.
Appreciate it.
Take care, Wyatt.
Happy writing. Thanks for having me. Cheers. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, man. Take care.
See you later.
Top geezer. What a guy. Great guy.
Yeah, that's the mission now. We've got to get up there, have a sneaky peek. All those fucking rock and roll riffs and shit. I can't.
Rock and roll. Absolutely, man.
Should we get the boys to come in?
Yes.
Let's get the boys. Let's get the
CROWS assemble. Devo.
Shino.
You enjoy.
I'd like to welcome my guest, Shiner.
not Ian Shiner Thomas.
Yeah, in the flesh.
No way.
Oh, look, check him out.
Hey, there he is, boy.
Flag, is it? I
Hey,
remember
boy.
19 my cables in,
Having a
boys.
fag, is it?
Yeah.
What's Dave?
Devo!
Happening, bed?
Do you
Yeah,
catch
that
up
was
an interview,
good.
boys?
Yeah, it was fucking class. I was
Yeah.
dipping in and out. Done it. I'll show you guys in a minute. Actually, just started setting some stuff up. Got the guitars out the case. But yeah, no, it was really, really interesting. Really, it was class.
Yeah, man.
It
He's
was
interviewed
awesome.
some.
Oh well, when he said
Amazing.
Aerosmith, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And the John Bon Jovi and cool. Like,
Very cool.
yeah, it was really interesting. Did you watch it, Dave?
So a little bit, yeah. I take the dog out though briefly, so. She wait for no man.
Cost you a tenner or what?
Right. Nah, that was a great guest. He's So I tell you what we'll do, Wen. We'll do those sticks for the crow wheel, is it?
Yeah, man. That's a good plan. That's brilliant, that is.
Great stuff. Wyatt sticks. That's very good of him, actually.
That is very good. Very good. Should we do what's the next line?
Oh yes. Let's do that.
Let's do that.
There's a slight difference for this. This is my sitar. I can't do it, boys.
Please.
Can you hear it? Oh,
Yeah.
big screen as well. Tell me the lyric. What's the next lyric? Oh, I can't do it. Let's do rock and roll Jack Black instead of sitar. Tell me the lyric, give me the lyric. What's the next lyric? It's lyric time. Tell me the lyric, give me the lyric. What's the next lyric? It's lyric time. What's the next line? What's the next line? What's the next line? And tonight's lyric is, you had your minute. You had your minute. What's the line that follows? Go.
I tell you what, in the meantime, I'm going to give everybody a tour of the studio.
Go for it, man.
Let's give you a bit of soul over there, Lloyd. Let's have a look at what's going on in there. So if you wonder,
So-
Lloyd.
Watch I don't bloody drop this now. Right. So this is the control room, everyone. Yeah.
Ooh.
Let's go and see the boys. Go see Shiner and Fish.
Who's in control of the control room, Lloyd? No one.
The controller.
The fat one. The fat
So
controller.
yeah. So this is the Fender. If you're watching this, anyone from Fender, come on. You know, I've only been emailing you like loads. So yeah, into the drum room. There's Bish. Say hello, Bish.
Nice start kit that is, Lloyd. Karma. The hard cases.
Here we go, Lux.
Look at that,
See,
Tama.
The beautiful Karma Star Classic.
the
Maple.
only,
Ooh,
the
beautiful.
only name in drums.
The hard cases.
Yeah, Shiner's off. Hey, everybody. Where's it to? Kemper. Where are we going?
I'm a camper, but I'm a camper.
No, you do it. Go on, you do it. I'll do it.
What's dropping, man? For all them weeks, look, there is the camper, Chris.
Oh, here we are. Taking to see the boys, huh? So we go through here. Can we see all right, boys?
Yeah.
So this is all this is like a storeroom with all the amps. There's my head. There's a cab there, so all these are sort of like sealed rooms. So all the cabs will be mic up in there, so there's no sound leak. Yeah, so it'll be cool. And we're all running on in-ears. So we'll all have our own little mix using one of these. fuck knows how to work it yet. But that's what tomorrow brings. So, and we're back in here now.
That was a nice chat.
Okay, guys. A little tour.
Was that hard work walking around with a laptop? Nearly dropped it twice.
You didn't show us the wine rack, Lloyd. Is there a wine rack there?
Wine rack.
Yeah. Serious question.
Bring one up.
I will. I might have to.
Yeah. There we go. We've got a winner. Have we got a winner for the... no, we haven't yet, have we?
Have we not? Yeah.
New winner. Looking amazing. Yeah, few people asking what we're doing. So we're just trying to keep active. That's the truth. So there's no real plan. We haven't really kind of coordinated with anybody. We just decided rather than trying to kind of squeeze in, it's harder to get rehearsal rooms at the moment because a lot of rehearsal rooms are trying to stagger the bands. So there's less kind of connecting or bumping into each other, which means that getting slots is becoming harder, or you can only get small amounts. Or so me and the boys had a chat the other day and we decided to try and find a residential studio. We give a ring around a couple of mates, and obviously within reason, we found a place. So we're just going to spend a couple of days up here now, having just seeing what happens. There's no actual plan. There's no. We've come in here with like a big string of songs to kind of lay down and surprise everybody. It's just more the fact of doing things a bit more professional now, innit, boys? You know, get everything set up correctly. And if it's 12 o'clock at night and an idea springs, the computer's running, the idea's recording. So we kind of, we keep everything done, So I can just see, what's this now? Craig, how do you guys record separately as drums and bass and guitars or vocals? To answer that question, Chris, what we're doing up here is, I know this is hard for Dave to answer because he's not here yet, but we've kind of created as if we're in a room together, a jam room, but everything is obviously being mic'd up. Everything's going exactly it's just almost like recording a live session. And then what we can kind of do is if an idea comes, whether it's a great bass line or a little vocal line from fucking around or a drum beat, for example, we can kind of just take what we want from those jam sessions. Because sometimes we got a habit of just kind of going off the cuff and jamming for about 20 minutes. And they can be, well, we can't we? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
One of those where you're in the mood and a certain rhythm will kick in and then we'll do the old, fuck, man, that was wicked, that was. Did anyone record it? No. Can anyone remember what they played? No, because you're in the moment. So I think the plan was to kind of capture as much as we can this week, this next couple of days, so.
Well, apparently, what we're doing here is kind of like how Aerosmith Pump, how they wrote that. They wrote it in the studio, they hit record, and they just played. So that's kind of what I think what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Like Chris wrote, yeah, I know what usually happens. You just, yeah, exactly. We've got a nasty habit of when the red light isn't on, some of the best ideas happen. And sadly, some of the greatest ideas probably for performers across the world, you lose that vibe because you're not thinking about recording. And I think that's the whole point of the next couple of days is we're not going to be thinking about the recording side. We're just going to be jamming with each other and coming up with ideas. Somebody can walk away. Somebody can pick up the guitar. Someone can go on the keyboard. The fact is, there's no real rules set out. It's just kind of like what happens, So, I mean, it's either that or we just, yet again, just sit around and wait for everything to die down, and then we get active. So I think this is the perfect time for most bands out there to encourage each other and kind of keep as active as possible. There's been some great releases this year. Some music is alive, especially within the rock scene. And I think the best way to do it is just keep jamming as a band, keep that connection there, like, you know. So
yeah, man. Yeah.
what do you think, Dave?
Yeah, man, absolutely. I just like the jam, so you do come up with cool little bits to do. So it's handy to have something record, and then you can take it home, man, afterwards, can't we? And polish it up a little bit.
Oh, there we are. These are
Demos
cool.
in the bag, like, you know.
We love to see the process. We'll probably do some videos. I got like a GoPro. I'm going to see if I can set that up, and we'll do loads of wacky shit. Maybe put it up on Facebook and Instagram and that. Alex Lee by you boys. That's a good one. Do you want to read that out, Lloyd?
Rush used to get loads from soundcheck jams that they recorded. I mean, there's last time used, like, well spent in my eyes. You know, that's time well spent, especially when you're on the road. I mean, I think we had a good few long sound checks on the last tour, didn't we, boys?
Yeah.
Not much jamming, no, but just.
Nicola's asking, but there we recording, so can we do some behind the scenes videos? Yeah, we'll do some stuff for the Instagram, and I think what we'll do is when we come home, maybe we'll edit some footage together, some really cool clips, and we'll put them up on the YouTube channel. Hey, Shine up, boy. Shine, I can hear me.
Oh, Shine. Get a kettle on for me, bet.
Get a kettle on.
Can I have a coffee, buddy?
Ronnie wants a coffee. Dave, do you want anything? Oh, you can't.
Yeah, I'll have a glass of Milo.
Lloyd wants a cup of tea.
Have a cup of tea, please, Shine.
And I'll have a glass of Southern Comfort.
Oh.
I'll have a bit of Coke in it. Let's not go mental. Yes, we got a winner now. So sorry everyone, it's just so long because obviously there's a lot of people now that have won stuff for the CrowCast. So like last week, hopefully giving it to someone who hasn't won before, and I think we found the winner. So the lyric was, it was from the song "Hey Man" off Point of No Return. You had your minute. It's time to move on now. And the winner is... I've forgotten. Kieran Evans. Kieran, congratulations, bud. Send us your address, and basically you can... Tell us your size as well, because I forgot to mention what the prize was. It was a zipped hoodie. Those damn crows zipped hoodie. Yeah, tell us your size. And your address, and we send one out to you, buddy. Well done, everybody. Thanks, everybody in the Crow family, for being nice and sharing within the Crow family.
The Crow community.
The Crow community.
The
Crow crew. Moving on.
Have tickled me.
I tell you what, let's have a bit of this. That's a good jam, no? Let's have a bit of this. Fucking hell. Sorry,
So
it's different computer. So it's so hard to like.
There
we go, David.
Good song, so we're gonna go. Load of shite, load of shite, load of shite. It's supposed to be blankly. Another fact.
What I did.
Sorry. Jeopardy, double jeopardy.
Right, so if you're gonna tell a lie, apparently, if you do it when you need a pee, it's more convincing. I'll explain why. Apparently, so if you're going to tell a lie to someone, you want to make it more convincing, do it when you really need a pee. And the reason for that is because you're concentrating on controlling your bladder, which means you're less concentrating on the fact you're telling a lie, you just tell it. And it's a bit more convincing.
So what if you wanted to lie about not going to the toilet?
Then you get stuck in a paradox. Yeah, Bermuda
Exactly.
Triangle style.
I don't need the toilet when you do need the toilet. It's a lie.
So yeah, if you've got
Taking
to
the
tell a
piss
big
now,
bogey to someone that day, a load of water, don't use the toilet, and take advantage of that.
Oh, thank you, bud. Thank you very much.
Lord, bring me my tea.
That's a strong one.
Kirsty is asking, prove it.
I will. I think. Yeah, I think next time I need a pee on the CrowCast, then yeah, I'll try and tell a lie and I'll see if you believe it. I've told loads of lies on this thing, and you've believed them all. So last week there was a massive one, wasn't there? What about Quaver's mind?
Very good.
Sounds like you're at the end of Heathrow runway, Shane.
Oh,
With
does
the
it?
kettle. No, because of the kettle.
Oh, is it?
I saw the train going past.
I'm just gonna have a quiet word with Shina in a minute.
No, that's all right. That's all right.
Sorry about that, everyone. Yeah,
Oh,
the kettle, that's all. That's just a joke. I never speak like that to Shina.
Should we give away, unless I'm missing something, but should we go for
Yes.
Wyatt's drumsticks?
Yeah, boy. Good luck, everybody. Wyatt's drumsticks. Here we go. The crow wheel.
Go on, Dave.
A drum roll on the glass.
Oh, so stop.
Yeah.
Gavin Harrison. Congratulations, Gavin.
Right,
Send us your address, bud, and Wyatt's drumsticks, you jammy sod.
Yeah. And if Gavin doesn't claim them, they'll be on offer next week, because that's what we do it.
Yes,
You don't
that's right.
claim them, Gav, you snooze, you lose, and they go back up next week. We recycle them for next week.
Yep.
So,
I'm writing that down.
there we go. Gavin Harrison. Well done, Gav. Well,
Wyatt's
how
sticks.
about we do one more then, Dave?
This one's a bit of a mad. This one's a bit of a mad one. I don't even know if it is true, right? Shaggy, right, in Scooby-Doo, the character Shaggy, his real name is Norval Rogers. Did you know that?
Do you need a toilet, Dave? Do you need a pee? Do you know what I'm saying? Don't get it out, Dave.
No, I
Get
don't.
Hey, get it out, Dave. Get it out.
Oh, brilliant. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Dave.
apparently he's got. I didn't even know he had an actual name. I just thought Shaggy. That
Yeah.
you know. Yeah. So
Mad.
Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible.
Norville Rogers.
Well, it's like Boise off Only Fools, isn't it? Do you actually know his name, or his actual name in the show?
No.
Aubrey.
Is
Oh yeah,
it?
then I never know
Aubrey
that.
Boyce.
Wow.
Seriously, you wouldn't know, would you? Because they refer to him as Boise or Boyce.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well done,
so-
boys. Lloyd, did you know as well, eh? Dude.
You can take
Real
over
life.
if you want. But,
No, you're all right, mate.
Oh, don't take his thunder, bud. Don't take his thunder.
Hey, I get the full screen then, Dave.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, look. He's on his way with his...
Oh, that cuppa's going to be good.
He's on his way.
It is.
Do you want me to open that door or what? In fact, I'm going to join Lloyd. I'm going to come down.
All right, bud. See you in a minute.
Whoa, look at that. Look at that. Well, apparently they want me to try an accent.
Should I give you one?
Yeah, go on then, Dave. Think sensibly now, Dave. 'Cause
Yeah.
South African.
South African, mate.
Yeah.
Is South Africa. It's a little bit cheeky. South Africa, cheeky Dave. Cheeky Dave.
You
Oh,
bad
sorry.
It's
boy.
not bad. It's not bad.
All right, say hello on my one now. See, there we go. Shiner's come up to visit.
I know in Ron's room,
There we go.
on the ground or whatever.
He's here. He's there. He's everywhere. Hey, Timo, got a couple of visitors, there.
Just wandering around giving people cups of tea.
This is a boys, man.
He's there. Thanks, man.
I owe you a cup of tea, Dave.
Geordie,
Yeah, damn fucking right.
Geordie, please. Hey, pet. Hey, Geordie.
How's the bins?
How's the bins? Come to the thing, Newcastle Ale, Newcastle Brown, innit? Hey. A Dutch accent. I like picking potatoes. I don't know Dutch.
Smoking a pancake.
Smoking
Smoking a crepe.
Yeah. I go to Amsterdam and I smoke on
Smoking a pancake. So like
how
what's
about
his name? Sean Connery, yeah.
I should maybe do it. I don't know. No. Hey. They wanted me to do a Scouse accent thing and I refused.
Do it.
No.
Why?
Scouse now.
Anyway. Well, look at the legs on me, huh? Look at the legs on that. It's my crotch, Blumen. Sorry, mate. Sorry.
Australian, get off my dick, mate. Get off my dick. Have a barbecue on my dick, mate.
Fuck's the
I haven't got a clue. I'm trying to play the time. Hey, barbecue on my dick, mate. Yeah. I was pretty good at doing accents once upon a time. I've lost it. Final
Never be good at it. Sorry?
it's kind of done with him.
He's up here. He is. Shine. Where do you want him, Ron?
Yeah, it's echoing, boys. I don't know who's this echoing.
Is that any better?
Yes. That's South African. Oh, yeah, get on my dick, mate. Yeah, I think. What was this?
I'm hopeless.
What was the? We used to do the Aussie one, wasn't it? Hey, barbecue on the dick, mate. I can't think of it now. Fucking hell.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, mate. I do better at doing this shit when I've had a drink, because normally I crack the boys up. Yeah. Get off my dick, mate. You're muted, Shane. Dick. Deck.
That's so funny.
Get off my dick.
Yeah, mate, on me dick.
All right,
Get off me dick, mate.
Get off my
Get off me
You
dick.
big ball bag.
Yeah.
Get off me
Bloody
dick, mate.
after.
Fair income.
Sam Hart do German.
Yeah.
I can't do that because we're going over in a couple of months and I don't want to lose the gig. So there we go.
That's right.
Vine's
That's right.
hello.
Do you remember?
It's French.
Do you remember when we shot?
Yeah.
When we went to the we done the video in the asylum for Set in Stone, and we were in the car on the way to Luton. Is it Luton or Stan Luton? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
These are the bars.
Yeah, doing all that,
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Oh, just jogged my memory, man.
Yeah, we do like to try our hand at accents, but we're not very good at them, really. But it makes us laugh. And please, nobody take offense. You know, it's every place we try to play in. It's not, you know what I mean? It's just, it's making fun of ourselves more than anything.
Yeah.
But there we are. Anyway.
Actually, Amanda, our manager is a Brummie.
Yeah. Go on, Ron.
44 days, mate. All right, mate.
Chucky, all right, mate.
Chucky.
You like to eat poison? I don't know. I'm gonna go London fucking gangster then. All right.
Oh, you fucking slag.
Blood.
Fucking do you slag?
Right. Is Shiner about, Mr. Greeno?
Shino,
He's
Oh,
not in
boy.
here. He's not in here.
you were wanted.
Thomas?
Shinner boy.
Is he close or is it literally balls being offended? Oh, there's Shiner. There he is. Hang on then. Without further ado, let me just kind of do the business end of it, guys. Fuck, it's so slow on here. So yeah, you can visit our website, www.thosedamncrows.com. We've got new stuff up. There'll be new stuff dropping next week as well. And if you go to our YouTube and subscribe, hit the notification and subscribe, hit the notification and like us on Facebook. That'd be great. It's been fun. Thank you very much to Wyatt for coming on. Amazing stories.
Legend.
Absolute legend. Yet another guest. We could probably do 2 shows with him.
Yep.
And we're about to spend a couple of days maybe close to home, maybe not close to home, maybe in England, maybe in Wales, maybe in Scotland. You could actually get in your car now, Dave, and we could see how quickly you could get here.
I think I'd crash and die if I attempted to drive this late.
Oh, see, so it could be quite far away. It might not be.
Could be. It could be. Even if I tried to drive 5 minutes down the road, that would probably happen.
There we are.
Plus, I just had a beer as well.
Well, thank you for tuning in. At least we showed we could take the CrowCast on the road. It wasn't bad, and it might not have been good. So if it wasn't, tell people you watched another show. There we are.
Ladies and gentlemen, one-liner, shiner.
Alrighty, I got a simple one this week, boys, which I said to Lloyd on the way up earlier. The Romans had it right, boys, by building straight fucking roads. As you can see, as you can see, I'm still upset with fucking winding roads.
Yeah. They're very windy.
I honest, boys, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
You can't say I bet, right? You can't say that because exactly, yeah. And the Beatles, long and winding road. You know, long straight road haven't got a real.
They had it right, boys. 2000.
They were straightforward, like be boring.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah.
You'll understand when you get here tomorrow. Trust me.
All right, then, better. I'll be fucking curious, isn't it?
Crow family, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, we will see you soon. But keep posted on our Facebook, on our social media. We will put up videos, photos of what we're doing, what we're up to, and yeah, we'll see you real soon. Thanks, guys.
Hang on, Shane. Quick spoiler. Next week's show. Hang on, we forgot. Next week's show.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Marco Mendoza. Viva la Rock.
Slapping the bass.
Marco Mendoza next week. Thank you very much.
See you. See you tomorrow, Dave.
Bye bye.
See you tomorrow, Dave.